Have you ever wondered what timeless wisdom your grandmother might share about love, trust, and the complexities of relationships? In this video, I'm diving into the invaluable insights passed down from my grandmother, a woman of deep understanding and experience, covering everything from infidelity and passion to navigating age differences in love. Stay with me until the end, as each piece of advice offers a unique perspective on handling love's most challenging moments and maintaining a fulfilling relationship. Whether you're looking to strengthen trust, rekindle passion, or simply gain a better understanding of love's true essence, these words of wisdom are sure to resonate and guide you on your romantic journey. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell to avoid missing any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. She always began with trust, the unshakable foundation of any relationship, the sacred thread binding two souls together. She would remind us, over and over, that without trust, love can hardly survive. Love may light up the initial stages of a relationship, but only trust, she insisted, keeps it burning through the inevitable storms. When speaking about infidelity, she did so with gravity and conviction, underscoring that cheating wasn't just a lapse in loyalty, but often a symptom of a much deeper fracture between two people. To her, betrayal was not merely an act, but a cry for attention to the unspoken issues lying beneath the surface. Her advice was always to confront problems head-on, to dig into those hidden places where misunderstandings and resentments lurk, and to talk openly before the small cracks widen into divides too vast to bridge. In her wisdom, love and intimacy in marriage were not meant to fade with time. She believed that passion was a flame worth tending, a fire that both partners needed to stoke deliberately, especially as the years passed. To her, sexual intimacy was more than a mere act. It was an expression of profound love, commitment, and unity, a language spoken without words. She would say, with a hint of a smile, that an active and fulfilling sex life was not just a privilege, but a responsibility for married couples, a sacred ritual that kept the bond fresh, alive, and meaningful. Her belief in the power of desire as a lifelong force was so strong that it felt almost radical, and I find her forward-thinking outlook inspiring even now. On the topic of relationships between older men and younger women, my grandmother's insight was strikingly balanced and compassionate. She acknowledged the beauty and potential for mutual respect and deep connection, dismissing society's tendency to judge such relationships harshly. Yet, she cautioned against ignoring the inherent challenges. Love, she said, knows no age, but relationships still require shared values, a mutual understanding of life seasons, and above all, respect for each other's unique journey. She recognized that while age may not matter to the heart, it can influence how people experience life together. Her view was that a relationship could flourish if both partners remained mindful of their differing stages and respected each other's goals and life experiences. These words, though from a woman of another era, resonate with a timeless truth. Her advice still guides me, as though her voice continues to echo in my heart, gently steering me through the twists and turns of love and connection. I share these memories not only to honor her wisdom, but to keep her spirit alive, a constant reminder that true love, with all its beauty and complexity, is worth every ounce of effort we give it. My grandmother had a way of sharing her thoughts on love that left you laughing, reflecting, and sometimes wondering how she got so wise. Her wisdom was never conventional, never coated in sugar, but always brimming with a truth that hit you in unexpected ways. If love is blind, she used to say with a sly grin, then the wallet is the first eye test. She wasn't dismissing the beauty of love. Rather, she was grounding it in reality. She knew that while love might be sparked by passion, shared dreams, or even sheer infatuation, the everyday life we lead, and yes, the practicalities like finances, plays a role in how that love can endure. This perspective didn't make her cynical, but incredibly perceptive. She was the type who knew that relationships weren't fairy tales, but real, complicated partnerships that demanded both emotional and practical investments. Infidelity was a subject she took on with a mix of humor and gravity. Infidelity, she'd say, is like a bad recipe. Everyone starts excited, but by the end, nobody wants a second serving. She never shied away from speaking about the pain it caused, the betrayal it signified, or the mess it left behind. But she did so in a way that reminded us not to judge too harshly. When someone strays, it's rarely just because they're disloyal, she would remind me. There's often something they're missing, something that's cracked in the relationship long before they walked out. She believed in getting to the root of problems and talking about the hard things, and in not waiting until those cracks became insurmountable chasms. For her, every relationship was a living thing that needed care, communication, and honesty. And when one part broke, you didn't throw it away. You worked to fix it. Then, with that twinkle in her eye, she would pivot from solemn advice to something that made everyone laugh. She'd joke, some people change partners so often they should earn fidelity points. Her humor was like a balm, reminding us that while relationships are sacred, they're also human. We're flawed, we're fallible, and sometimes we're downright foolish. She'd say that love might be blind, but wisdom is seeing things, acknowledging them, and laughing at our shared human folly. When it came to intimacy, especially within marriage, my grandmother was unapologetically direct. Sex in marriage is like cell phone service, she'd muse. The coverage always seems better in the advertisements. This one-liner wasn't just funny. It was her way of highlighting how society builds up unrealistic expectations around love and intimacy, often leaving people feeling disappointed or inadequate. To her, sexual intimacy was a sacred language, a means of expressing not just desire, but commitment, closeness, and understanding. But she was also practical and knew that passion required effort. Don't expect things to stay sizzling hot if you aren't willing to work on it, she'd say with a knowing look. Desire is a flame that needs tending, even more so as the years go by. It's like any other part of marriage. It needs attention, care, and a sense of humor. Her insight on relationships between older men and younger women was refreshingly balanced. Love doesn't come with an age restriction, she'd tell us. But living together, well, that's where it can get tricky. She understood that love can cross boundaries like age, culture, and circumstance. But she also knew that challenges could arise when partners were at different stages of life. You have to respect each other's journey, she'd say, and understand that each of you is on your path, even when you're walking it together. She believed that love should be grounded in shared values and goals, even if the partners were decades apart in age. Her perspective was clear. Love can be beautiful between any two people, but both must be mindful of the differences and approach the relationship with empathy, patience, and open-heartedness. Sometimes her humor was so spot on that it felt like she was reading straight from life's playbook. He was as faithful as a politician on the campaign trail, she once said about someone notorious for infidelity. He'd promise loyalty, but switch sides at every opportunity. She'd laugh, not out of bitterness, but out of recognition of human nature's sometimes fickle ways. It was a reminder that faithfulness isn't about grand promises or pretty words. It's about showing up, being present, and honoring the trust placed in you day by day. This practicality didn't detract from her belief in love's beauty. She simply saw it as something real, something worth fighting for, not a fantasy to live in. She often spoke about the value of money in relationships with the same blend of humor and realism. Money might not be able to buy love, she'd say, but it sure puts you in a better market. It was her way of saying that while love shouldn't be transactional, financial stability provides a sense of security that helps a relationship grow. She had a knack for seeing through pretense and reminding us to be both loving and practical, to care for each other in both heart and mind. And when it came to the delicate dance of maintaining passion in marriage, she'd chuckle and say, "Sex in marriage is like high-speed internet. Fantastic when it's working, but when it goes down, oh, is it frustrating?" Her humor here was more than just a lighthearted observation. It was her way of saying that intimacy has its ups and downs, that it's something to laugh about, work through, and not give up on when things don't go perfectly. The key, she said, was to keep the spark alive without letting it consume you. Keep the flame burning, but don't set the whole house on fire. She'd joke, winking as though she knew just what it took to keep love alive without getting burned. Infidelity, to her, was like a diet gone wrong. There are many slips between the plate and the mouth. She didn't condone it, but she had empathy for the struggles people faced in love. Relationships are hard, she'd say, and sometimes people stumble. For her, the goal wasn't to judge, but to understand. She saw life in shades of gray, understanding that people make mistakes, that love isn't always simple, and that sometimes the hardest moments can teach us the most valuable lessons. In the end, my grandmother's words weren't just witty observations or clever phrases. They were the kind of advice that sticks with you, a roadmap through the winding paths of love and human connection. She taught us that relationships are worth every effort, that trust is the greatest gift you can give, and that a little humor and humility go a long way. To this day, her voice echoes in my heart, reminding me that love, with all its messiness and beauty, is a journey worth taking, even when it's complicated, unpredictable, and sometimes downright funny. If you're still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. In the stock exchange of love, my grandmother would say, some invest their all, putting in time, trust, and deep emotion, while others prefer to withdraw before they risk losing everything. She often told me with a knowing smile that it was wise to invest wisely. And when it came to finding a partner, her eyes always sought out a man rich in character. Yet, she admitted that glancing at his bank balance never hurt. For her, character was the gold standard, but a little financial stability was the silver lining. She had a way of comparing relationships to books. Some are page-turners you can't put down, others are the heavy tomes you feel obligated to get through, and some, despite your best intentions, you simply can't finish. She saw that every relationship teaches you something, whether it's a thrilling romance or a life lesson you'll remember forever. And when it came to fidelity, she would chuckle, comparing it to an itch that, once scratched, might leave you lost in its consequences, not knowing when or how to stop. He said love was blind, she'd recall with a grin, and I told him I prefer to keep my eyes wide open, especially on his wallet. She was playful yet wise, reminding us that love and practicality don't have to be mutually exclusive. Love may be blind, but marriage, she declared, is a great eye clinic. She joked that she didn't need a prince on a white horse, but if one rode up in a luxurious imported car, well, she'd take a second look. To her, marriage was the place where all illusions are stripped away and you learn to see one another truly and clearly. And when it came to cheating, she had little patience. Cheating, she'd say, is the only thing you gain more of by losing. Lose your trust, lose your peace, lose your respect. She believed deeply in loyalty, but also understood that the modern world sometimes made promises like, until death do us part, feel more like, until Wi-Fi separates us. Sex and intimacy, in her opinion, were like software. They needed frequent updates, open communication, and a commitment to keep things running smoothly. If infidelity were a subject in school, she'd joke, too many people would graduate with honors. Her humor was her way of emphasizing how common and tempting mistakes can be, yet she encouraged us to cherish our connections and work hard to keep them strong. My grandmother also had a practical view of money. She knew, with no apologies, that while money can't buy love, it certainly helps negotiate better terms in the love contract. Money, in her view, didn't replace love but enhanced the journey, making life's challenges more manageable and freeing a couple to focus on the important things: trust, companionship, and shared goals. Passion, she'd say, is like that fun friend you adore, the one who makes every day feel like an adventure, but often leaves you facing the consequences. Passion, for her, was essential, but it needed a steady, loyal foundation to thrive. She'd laugh about the eternal loyalty promised in wedding vows, saying some people interpret it more like a renewable contract, ready to expire when things get tough. In a relationship, it's essential to know how to cook, she'd say, not just with ingredients, but with love, adding a pinch of romance, a spoonful of humor, and making sure jealousy never boils over. Her cooking metaphor was a perfect recipe for lasting love, one that balanced the flavors of companionship, excitement, and forgiveness. Through her words, my grandmother painted a picture of love that was both practical and idealistic, rich with warmth, humor, and realism. She reminded us that while love can be blissful and magical, it's also a shared effort, a choice made each day, and an adventure to be embraced fully, with open eyes and an open heart. In her wisdom, she taught us that relationships are not just about finding the right person, but about nurturing a connection, a commitment, and a sense of humor, even as life brings its ups and downs. Her legacy lives on in every smile, every piece of advice, and every lesson she shared about love, loyalty, and the beautiful, unpredictable journey that is life. My grandmother often spoke about love as if it were a precious, fragile treasure, something beautiful but demanding care and truthfulness. Truth is the foundation of love, she'd say, with a wisdom that felt as solid as stone. Without truth, she believed, any relationship was like a house built on sand, destined to collapse at the first sign of trouble. To her, love wasn't just a feeling or a convenience. It was a commitment rooted in honesty. Those who let lies slip into their relationship, who stray from their promises, would, as she said, plant infidelity and harvest solitude. In her eyes, the betrayal of infidelity didn't just break hearts. It left people alone in a way that no amount of reconciliation could truly heal. Trust, she taught, is a fragile seed that requires time, care, and honesty to grow. But once lost, she reminded me, it's like a plant that, when uprooted, may never fully flourish again. For her, love was never about grand displays or material wealth, but about a connection so deep and genuine that it could withstand life's storms. Love isn't measured by the size of the wallet, she'd say, but by the depth of connection. It's a sentiment that resonates with me even today. She understood the world's pull towards superficial attractions, but was steadfast in her belief that true love transcended financial gain and was instead bound by sincerity and mutual respect. Cheating, to her, was a one-way street. If someone was willing to walk down that path, she warned, they should be prepared to lose their way back. She spoke about respect as if it were a currency, one that should be spent wisely and valued above all else. Respect is the most valuable currency in any relationship, she'd say. Once it's spent recklessly, you'll find it nearly impossible to earn it back. Her words carried the weight of experience, and they always reminded me to cherish the respect that exists between two people in love. In her view, relationships were like mirrors. Once broken, they could be glued back together, but the cracks would always remain, a testament to the struggles endured. Fidelity, to her, was like a rare masterpiece, a work of art that, once damaged, could never be fully restored to its original beauty. She believed fidelity was priceless and irreplaceable, something you couldn't replicate or find just anywhere. When you have it, she'd say, it's worth guarding with everything you have. Communication, she believed, was a key investment in the bank of love. Every honest conversation, every heartfelt word was like making a deposit that enriched the bond you share. The more you deposit, the richer you both become, she'd tell me. It was her way of reminding me that love is a constant exchange of thoughts, emotions, and dreams, an investment that yields its most beautiful rewards through time and effort. Her view of true love was never about control or power, but about growth, a sacred pact of mutual respect and support. She believed that if love were a book, sincerity would be its preface, setting the tone for every chapter to come. Without sincerity, she said, the whole story of a relationship would lose its meaning, like a beautiful tale that lacks a truthful beginning. Infidelity, she'd caution, is a shortcut to lose. She believed that those who take that path may gain a moment of thrill, but rarely reach a place of happiness. Respect was, in her eyes, the backbone of any relationship, the strength that kept love standing tall and unwavering. Without it, she warned, love would bend, stretch, and eventually shatter under the weight of disregard. Cheating, she'd say, was a seed that should never be planted, for once it took root, it grew into a towering tree of regrets. To her, the foundation of love wasn't just made of romance or passion, but of trust, respect, and honesty. Her words were like guideposts, reminders to value the things that truly matter and to treat love as the precious, irreplaceable bond that it is. She taught me that true love is built slowly, with patience and care, and that it grows richer when both partners commit wholeheartedly to nurturing it. Her wisdom still echoes, teaching me that love, at its core, is not a fleeting emotion, but a deep, unwavering commitment, a bond that, when cherished, can weather any storm. Relationships, my grandmother used to say, are not like bank accounts where you can take out more than you put in. Every withdrawal without a prior deposit weakens the balance that keeps love flourishing. Emotional investment isn't optional. It's the very foundation upon which a lasting relationship is built. She often spoke of trust, comparing it to fine crystal, beautiful, transparent, and incredibly precious. But just like crystal, once it's broken, even the most skilled hands can't mend it without leaving traces. These cracks, however subtle, remain as reminders, forever changing the crystal's once perfect surface. Trust, she believed, is one of love's most valuable treasures, to be protected with the utmost care, for when it shatters, it's never quite the same. In a relationship, patience is like a lovingly tended garden. If you want love to bloom, you must nurture it daily, give it light, water it with kindness, and weed out resentment. This garden, she said, requires dedication, and it's a labor that rewards the heart. When neglected, however, it quickly wilts. In her view, infidelity was like wandering down an unmarked road, where honesty serves as the only map that keeps us grounded. Straying from that map, she warned, is easy, but the way back is often hard to find. Relationships, she would say, are like intricate dances, full of delicate steps and rhythms, where two partners move in harmony, trying not to step on each other's toes. This dance requires commitment, communication, and a shared understanding. True love, in her eyes, didn't just shine in moments of happiness or sing in times of joy. It was also that quiet voice in the darkness, whispering words of encouragement, guiding both partners through the shadows with trust and honesty. Betrayal, she said, was like severing the cords that hold up a bridge. Once those ties are cut, the bridge of communication falls, and rebuilding it takes time, effort, and a great deal of courage. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. For her, love without respect was like a house without a foundation. It may look stable on the outside, but the slightest stress can send it crumbling. Respect, she believed, wasn't just a nice sentiment. It was the backbone of love, the support that holds everything together. She often said, true love isn't something you stumble upon. It's built brick by brick, day by day. Every moment of understanding, every bit of patience, every act of respect. These are the materials from which lasting love is crafted. Loyalty, to her, was the music that made love dance. As long as that melody played, the dance continued, full of grace and beauty. But once loyalty is lost, it's as if the music stops, leaving the partners swaying in silence, uncertain of their steps. If you want to fly together, she'd advise, don't weigh down the wings of love with secrets and lies. Transparency, she believed, was the key to soaring in harmony. The wings of love are delicate, held aloft by trust and openness, and when burdened by deceit, they falter. Her wisdom painted love as something deeper, something worth fighting for, protecting, and cherishing. She taught me that true love is a daily commitment, a bond that doesn't simply endure through the highs, but grows even stronger through the lows. Her words stay with me, a gentle reminder that love, at its core, is about honesty, respect, and the daily choice to stand by each other, come what may. Infidelity, my grandmother would say, is a thief that steals not only trust, but also the precious moments of openness and vulnerability that love took years to build. When someone chooses betrayal, it's as though they're closing the doors that both partners had worked so hard to open. And once these doors close, they rarely open again with the same ease, often leaving a sense of hesitancy where once there was only trust. She believed that in every relationship, it's the small gestures, the kind words, the thoughtful acts of respect that act as seeds planted in the heart. When nurtured, these small moments grow into sturdy trees, deeply rooted and filled with lasting affection. In her view, these gestures are the foundation upon which lasting love is built. Forgiving infidelity, she taught, is an act of immense love and strength. It requires a heart big enough to let go of pain and a spirit strong enough to try again. But she always cautioned that forgiveness is not the same as acceptance. Forgiving a single mistake is one thing, but tolerating repeated betrayals can strip a person of their self-worth. Forgive once if your heart allows, she'd say, but don't allow your kindness to become a doormat. Her perspective was clear. While forgiveness can heal, it should never enable behavior that harms. In her mind, relationships were about creating a safe space where both partners felt valued, cherished, and secure. Relationships, she reminded me, are not only about sharing laughter, joy, and lighthearted moments. They are about weathering storms side by side, supporting each other with open hearts through the difficult days. True love, she believed, is as much about holding hands in the rain as it is about dancing in the sun. This, she said, is where the depth of a relationship is tested. When things are not perfect, when disagreements arise, and when life's challenges make their appearance. For her, these moments of vulnerability, resilience, and compassion were where love's strength truly shone. As we look back on these phrases and life lessons, we're reminded of the many layers that relationships hold. Each one of these insights offers a window into the profound complexity and quiet beauty that come with loving and being loved. These words serve not only as advice on how to nurture connections with others, but also as reminders of the importance of the relationship we hold with ourselves. Through the wisdom of these reflections, we learn to value fidelity, respect, and honest communication, recognizing that true love doesn't just happen. It's created, nurtured, and sustained with intention. Whether contemplating the strength it takes to forgive, the patience required to build lasting affection, or the courage to face life's storms together, these lessons encourage us to seek relationships that are deeper, more meaningful, and anchored in true commitment. Love, after all, is a journey filled with both light and shadows, one that requires us to bring our full selves to each moment and to hold each other close, come what may. As we reach the end of this reflection on love, trust, and the timeless wisdom that relationships require, it's time to ask yourself, what have you learned? Which insights resonated most deeply? And what will you carry with you into your own life? Think about one lesson that spoke to your heart, one truth you feel inspired to bring into your relationships. Share your thoughts below, one thing you've learned here and plan to put into practice. Your experiences and reflections can inspire others and remind us all that love is a journey, rich with learning and growth. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more insights on life, love, and personal growth. Thank you for joining us on this journey.